MANYU Awareness Communication Network presents the launching of the female football tournament in MAMFE Central Subdivision in the southwest region of Cameroon by Elena N G O under the distinguished patronage of the divisional officer for MAMFE Central, Mr. Ignatius Ekele, and funded by the Corporate Social Responsibility Department of FIFA in collaboration with Football for Hope movement. The tournament has kicked off with notably 4 female teams: Nilo, Zion, Black Sparrows, and Satum Ladies. But 8 teams are expected to participate in the tournament. Meanwhile, it is expected to target over 820 participants. After realizing some spectacular humanitarian projects in the past years in the division, notably care and support to orphans and vulnerable children, solid households, waste management in MAMFE town and its environs, HIV and AIDS sensitization in remote villages, and dry season vegetable cultivation, etc., we now invite you to watch the launching of female football tournament aimed at ferociously fighting HIV and AIDS amongst the youthful population in MANYU division. The launching that cut across all the segments and categories of people in many divisions began at 3:30 p.m. with the arrival of the divisional officer for MAMFE Central Subdivision, Ignatius Ekele, who joined medical officers, sports officials, traditional rulers, journalists, women from different socio-cultural backgrounds, and over 3,000 people to witness the ceremony at the MAMFE Municipal Stadium. But before the launching proper at the MAMFE Municipal Stadium, we caught up with the coordinator and founder of Elena N G O, Mr. Tambe Dixon Ashu, who made an appraisal of the female football tournament and its implications.
Elena N G O, my name is Tambe Dixon Ashu. We just launched the 2016 female football competition in the project titled Women in the Field. Our intention is to sensitize women, young girls, and even the adolescents on HIV and AIDS. We want to use female football to communicate the strategies and methods through which the HIV is spread and how to curb its spread. We have so far registered 7 teams that are going to participate in the competition. But at the day of the launch, on the 19th of March 2016, we had 4 teams, which are Zion FC, we had Nelo, which participated in an international soccer tournament in Germany. We had Sparrows and Zion. But there are other teams that are still to come who did not report to the field because of certain logistics. We have Badi FC, female FC. We have Monaya FC. We have Takamanda. We have Eshobi. We have Avatu and many others. So the purpose of this project is to move towards the nooks and crannies of MANYU division so as to take HIV and AIDS information to them. So far we have realized that many organizations, even the Ministry of Health, has never used female football to rally people so as to sensitize them. All other methods used by the Ministry of Health are seemingly failing. But we know that since football is a passion for all, football is going to rally a lot of persons. So we decided to use football, or female football, to bring a lot of people together. And especially on the day of the launch, which was presided over by the divisional officer for MAMFE Central, we had a crowd of over 3,000 persons who came to watch and who also received information on HIV and AIDS. And during the launch, we had some press organs, like the MANYU Community Radio. We had the written press, we had the audiovisual. We also had the assistance or a lending hand from the Ministry of Health, which was represented by the district medical officer and who also gave a talk on HIV and AIDS. This work is not only carried on alone or being carried on alone by me. I have the able assistance of the technical team. We have a CAFUT. We have the Association of National Cameroon Football Referees. We have my able secretary who is always there to make sure that everything is put on deck and also transmitted to the teams concerned. Launch at this time of the year instead of in January. We understand that January is the start of the year, and that was the period which was slated for the launch. But owing to some circumstances beyond our control, and also knowing fully well that this period is a period where most of the girls or students are occupied with school activities, we couldn't launch it at that time. So we wanted to launch it at a time where they are on break. And presently they are on break, and we launched it just a day after their holidays. So this permitted us to have a good number of youths, a good number of girls, because HIV is now having a feminine face. So we felt that this was an appropriate period of doing it in January.
Then communicates to the team and get back information from them. I make sure the JCs and other materials that are needed for the tournament is well organized and put in place.
MANYU Community Radio. I want to think that it's been so wonderful as far as communication is concerned. And you know, when people are not informed, they are deformed. That is why the director of Elena N G O took upon himself to make sure he involves the press for the dissemination of information.
Making all of you to understand the extent of this very fantastic and splendid initiative by Elena N G O here in MANYU Division. I think the world should understand that HIV and AIDS is a very dangerous and vicious virus. So if an individual of this magnitude takes upon this initiative to employ strategies to eradicate and to thwart off this disease, I think The first football was launched in 2007, 2013, and 2016 is a continuation of Elena's philosophy to fight AIDS in the field. Football is a passion that is loved by all and rallies people for all walks of life. That is why Elena N G O decided to pass through this forum to fight HIV and AIDS and to put a smile on the faces of many people. According to Elena, HIV and AIDS pandemics vary significantly in different countries, and mostly young girls are the ones affected, and half of all new affections of HIV in sub-Saharan Africa are estimated to occur amongst those between the ages of 15 to 24 years. The coordinator, Mr. Ashu, argues that young people also are the best hope of reversing the pandemic, and countries that have reported a decline in HIV prevalence have recorded the biggest changes in behavioral change amongst younger age groups, girls and women. He further intimated that many young people, however, do not have the basic knowledge and skills to prevent themselves from becoming infected with HIV. They continue to have insufficient access in information, counseling, testing, condoms, harm reduction, strategies, treatment, and care for sexually transmittable affections. Other socio-economic factors, according to Elena, include factors beyond the control of individuals from being affected also need to be addressed. In Cameroon and MANYU in particular, all prevention strategies to fight the spread of HIV and AIDS have been used except the use of football. That is why Elena N G O, with the support of FIFA and Football for Hope movement, decided to launch this project to use football to communicate protective strategies aimed at preventing stigma and discrimination, voluntary counseling and testing, bringing together infected and non-infected persons to have more information on HIV and AIDS, to persuade women from involving in all identified acts that may lead them to contract HIV and AIDS. Elena N G O believes that knowledge gained on the spread of HIV and AIDS will be communicated to many girls and their peers. It was an implausible opportunity for the representative of the Chief Medical Officer for the Preventive Hospital, MAMFE, Mr. Roland Mbi, to make an appraisal on HIV and AIDS infection.
Thank you. HIV is a virus, and they call it a human immunodeficiency virus, because when the virus gets into the system, it affects the defense system of the individual. And what you should know is that not an AIDS patient. You are an HIV carrier. You are not a patient yet. So there is a difference. I just wanted to clarify you. So what are the different routes of transmission of HIV? How can HIV be transmitted from one person to another? First, you can get HIV through sexual intercourse, unprotected sexual intercourse to be specific. And when we talk of sexual intercourse, we should know that sexual intercourse is not only vaginal sex. Some people practice oral sex, others practice anal sex. And I must stress again that anal sex and oral sex remains the most risky form of sexual intercourse to be practiced, because most of those who acquire the disease acquire it through anal sex or oral sex. Because the virus cannot pass from one person to another if there is no direct contact of blood between the two people. So there must be contact. And when you are practicing anal sex, what happens is that the anus is not lubricated. And so friction that is in the anus as the penis will be mixture of blood samples between the partners, and they then can contract the HIV virus. Oral sex, you know, the mouth has teeth. In the course of maybe performing oral sex, the teeth may wound the prepuce of the penis, and then there will be blood contact between the two partners. And so one of the routes through which HIV can be transmitted is through oral sex, anal sex, or vaginal sex, so sexual intercourse. There is also the transmission of HIV from the mother to the child. If the mother is HIV positive and doesn't go for her ANC, antenatal consultations, it is very possible that during birth there will be placental transmission, that's movement of the virus from the mother to the fetus, because during delivery there will be mixture of blood between the mother and the fetus, and as such HIV will be transmitted. Also, you can get HIV, especially drug addicts, those who use the same syringes and then you inject other persons, because drug addicts, once they have their drug in the syringe, they can use it on so many individuals. And so if one of the individuals is contaminated, has the HIV virus, can pass it to the other members of the group, and as such HIV will be transmitted. Also, there can be transmission through transfusion. During transfusion, if the blood is not well screened, usually before transmission is done, blood is screened for several diseases, one of them being HIV. If the blood is not well screened, then the virus can move from the blood to the person who is being donated or given blood. And so that is another means of transmission. Contrary to so many myths about the transmission of HIV, I want here to say HIV is a very deadly disease, and it's not like a kind of witchcraft like most people think. HIV is real. It's a virus. Scientifically, it has been proven that the virus exists. Because most people think it's either wickedness, your grandmother or your grandfather in the village doesn't want to see you, and so he has infected you with a deadly disease and that's why you're dying. Now, knowing these modes of transmission or routes of transmission of the virus, what next I want you to know is how to prevent HIV. How can you prevent contracting the virus? There are several routes to or ways which you can prevent yourself from contracting the virus. First, it is advocated that we practice abstinence. We abstain from sex, especially young people, young boys, young girls who are not yet married, who are not yet ripe for marriage. You practice abstinence till when you get to the age where you can start practicing sex, then can you go into it. But if you know it's difficult for you to abstain from sex, it's still very possible that if you have a partner, try as much as possible to be faithful to your partners. What do we mean by this? If you want to get into a sexual relationship, make sure first you go to the hospital for HIV screening. If they screen you, you are negative, your partner is negative, then good. Then can you start practicing fidelity, being faithful to what is the spread of the disease. If you cannot be faithful, you want 2 or 3 other boys or girls, then you have to adopt to use the condom consistently and correctly, because so many people don't use the condoms correctly. So if you want to prevent HIV, use the condom consistently and correctly. Mr. Coordinator, unfortunately this year we don't have condoms to show some demonstration. There are? Okay. Since time is no longer on our side, we'll have to be somehow brief. So when you practice the correct use of condom, that's the 3 means which I've given you. You have to first abstain. If you cannot abstain, you have to be faithful.
To the launch, there was a cultural display of some local artists who showcased the rich and potential cultural diversity of MANYU division. As reported at the beginning, this is not the first humanitarian efforts Elena N G O is undertaking in MANYU division. This organization is fast becoming emblematic in humanitarian efforts and gradually inscribing its name into the sands of the history of MANYU in the domain of development. That is why MANYU Awareness Communication Network has taken profound interest in its activities across the division. Mr. Ashu Dixon, president and founder of Elena, is thus making a clarion call for MANYU sons and daughters to rally behind him and support his actions on the field, and equally calling the general public to also support his action financially, and not only to be allowed in the hands of the World Football Governing Body, FIFA. And right here is the president himself, who is conspicuously present here this afternoon to see that everything is going to be very positive as far as this tournament to fight against HIV is concerned in MANYU division. So, Mr. President, what is the organization of this tournament? Why are you organizing this tournament? Your name first, introduction first.
I'm called Tambe Dixon Ashu, the coordinator of Elena N G O, based in Cameroon. The purpose of the tournament, all other strategies have been used to fight HIV and AIDS all over the world. And as a pandemic, each region or each country has its own way of fighting it. All other measures have been used to fight HIV and AIDS, using all strategies, but football has never been used, especially in Cameroon. So we are going to use a female football tournament to communicate information, protective strategies against the fight of HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, Mr. President, when you look around, you can see 2 football teams, but they are not identified. Which are these teams playing this afternoon?
I think all the teams are identified. There are 7 teams that are going to play this afternoon. There are 2 teams that are going to play, but there are 7 for the launch of the whole tournament. So we have Zion, the female football club. We have Nelo Football Club. We have Takamanda Female Football Club. we have Black Sparrows, we have Dream Soccer, and others.
Yeah, Mr. President, you said something very pertinent. You talked of using football to try to thwart off HIV/AIDS in MANYU division. So how do you think this program can lead you to the success of you eradicating AIDS in MANYU division using football?
I think so far around the world, and from statistics, it has been proven that AIDS dwells among the youths, and especially the girls, aged between 15 and 24. So they have never had sufficient information to communicate or to receive. They don't have access, to have information about HIV and AIDS. We believe we are going to use the female football tournament to communicate information about HIV and AIDS. That is the means that the HIV is spread and how they have to curb it. So we are going to do this through the tournament. At the start of the match, we are going to give them strategies on how HIV is being spread and how they have to curb it. At the end of the tournament, we do the same. And then after this, we are going to organize an HIV and AIDS night, whereby all the teams will come together and we will give them information. And we believe that by the women or the girls coming together to play this tournament, at the end of every football encounter, they are going to communicate this information to their peers back in their various villages and towns.
Yeah, Mr. President, an occasion of this magnitude, I don't think it's coming from your own sponsor. So could you tell us the sponsors of this very magnificent tournament that has begun in MANYU division for the fight against AIDS?
Yes, thank you very much. I think that's a very pertinent question. I think we have received support from FIFA, that is the Federation of International Football Association, and also with the support of Football for Hope movement, passing through street football well. So all these partners have come together through Elena to support this project.
It's coming maybe to have a look at the population. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. Fantastic. The match is going to begin. As you can see, the central referee heavy in the division. The match begins. The kick off. Molo in control. Player number 6 for Molo. Sends the ball ahead to player number 9. It beats one. Number 11. No, out of play. The ball is out of play. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see the beginning, it's going to be a very, very powerful match. It's very rare for some of us to watch women playing. Today's an opportunity for you to see how women are displaying good football. Now Milo tries to organize play there. The ball out of play. In favor of Milo Football Club. Throw in favor of Milo. Zion throw in favor of Zion. Zion sends the ball ahead. The players. Zion in control. Central defensive ball for Zion tries to send the ball ahead. Around the center circle. What is happening? Zion tries to put ahead. Number 8 player for Zion moves ahead. He tries to kick now. No, he has been obstructed. Women playing football is concerned. So it is a very, very, very serious match. So I want to find your opinion, Mr. Kelly, please.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I saw the assistant referee raised up his flag or her flag. It's a corner kick there. It's a nice run there from there, but there is a blockage. Taking the ball back in the side of the other football team. Patrick, is not easy here. The girls are doing it. I can see their supporters shouting. It's a bad one there.
Goes in, right in, and what is happening? Player number 10 for Milo tries to get the ball. The ball is out of play. Football club. Throw in favor of Milo. Number 12 Zion moves ahead. He tries to control the ball. The ball is out of play. Ball is out of play.
Zion trying to send the ball ahead. And it's stopped there by a player of Milan, number 9, Chapamino, which gives a header. Who gives a header? She has been brought down by the central defense player. Doing our best, we want to ensure that this giant project to fight against AIDS goes across, goes through, so that it should work a radiant smile on the faces of the women of MANYU division. The match continues. Player number 3 for Milan tries to set the ball. He's trying to control, and what is happening around the penalty box? Number 10 player for Zion sends the ball ahead, and a chance. A chance. A chance. The ball is out of play. The assistant referee sends a flag from Milo football team. Player number 6 throws in. This tournament is organized to see how to fight this very vicious disease. Now in the first phase of this encounter, player number 9 No. 7 minutes. So they are building themselves gradually. The ball continues around the penalty box of Zion FC. A goal man goes up, man number 12. Camilo strikes again the second time, and the goal has been affected. In fact, as the coordinator himself puts it, they are beginning to be understanding themselves now. The coordination is coming gradually in favor of Milo, in favor of Zion. The ball is out of play. Ball is out of touch. In favor of Zion FC. Zion FC throws in. No, I think it's fully executed. As the referee said in, the match continues. From that far side, now the ball has been deflected by a Milo player. Zion in control. They try to push ahead. And the central defense for Milo strikes the ball off. Around the center circle. What is happening? Player number 9. Player number 9 for Milo moves ahead. This one still at floor. And player number 10 tries to strike. They go to the picture. A balanced match this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are welcome to the Municipal Stadium MAMFE for this tournament organized by Elena N G O, which is principally to fight HIV and AIDS. Zion sends the ball ahead. It has been stopped by player number 10. Milo moves ahead. Player number 13 for Milo. She turns around. Tries to beat one, has been stopped. And number 3 shot sends the ball ahead. And what is happening? They're going to go out of play. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's not an easy match to be complicated, but we are doing our best. At this juncture, we have been playing about 10 minutes into the first half of this encounter between Melo FC and Zion Football Club. This one is going to be executed by Zion Football Club. They have sent the ball around the center circle. Zion starting to coordinate play. Player number 9 moves ahead. Gradually tries to move ahead, but we stop back down there. And at that point, player number 8 picking up Zion sends the ball and is gradually going out of play. It's going out of play. Beautiful football, temperature, good football weather. As you can see, the two teams are still organizing themselves because we are in the first few minutes pace off around the center circle. Zion Football Club. It's a shot! A shot. Ball out of play. But what do you think they are doing on the pitch? Thank you very much, Patrick, for all indication. Both teams are trying to do their best. I want to think that the coaches need to get into action right now to make sure that the players keep up with what they are doing and do better. Because there are some things that the coaches are trying to, rectify here at the grandstand.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kelly. I think that is a very powerful observation. We are saying that the coach, they need to do something, they need to empower them, they need to give them some technical touches to see a change in the tournament, or a change in the match. The ball around the touchline.